turn all red. He would get super itchy. I mean, you name it, hives, hair was falling out.
Pet parents are often dumbfounded by the effects of feeding their dogs a kibble diet. Renowned veterinarian Gary Richter, on the other hand, isn't surprised at all.
If you're going to take fresh, whole foods and need to make them last for years on a shelf, you have to do stuff to it. Yet, for some reason, a lot of people are told that's exactly what they should feed their dog to keep it healthy, and really nothing could be further from the truth.
Fortunately, Dr. Richter has a solution that returns their pets to optimal health.
His paws are clear, belly's clear, face is clear.
No more diarrhea?
No.
Any vomiting?
No.
Well, that's spectacular. If you really want to give your dog more energy, better mobility, improved digestion, and a healthier body, I've created an easy 30-second technique that you can do right now from your own kitchen. Here's a quiz for every dog owner. If you want to help your dog live a really long time, what's the number one most important factor? Is it A, their breed, B, their veterinarian, or C, their food? As a veterinarian with over 20 years experience treating dogs of every shape and size, I can tell you, the answer is actually C, the right food. The right food can help your dog live years past their projected lifespan, have vastly improved dental hygiene, improve mobility for older dogs, poop that's odorless and easy to pick up, less itching, and most importantly, a happy disposition that makes them want to give you all the love in the world. There's just one problem. The wrong food can have the exact opposite effect. It can inflame joints, lack antioxidants and vitamins, and for some dog foods, contain specific chemicals that have been found to be linked with cancer. So which foods are best for your dog? That's why I made this video. To cut through all the hype and give you the ultimate pet food guide to which foods are healthy for your dog and which ones I never recommend. My name is Dr. Gary Richter, and I'm a veterinarian with over 20 years of experience treating animals here in Northern California. I'm the author of The Ultimate Pet Health Guide, the best-selling book that's helped thousands of dogs live long, healthy lives. That includes my own dogs, Sammy and Marty, who are two of my best friends in the world. I was also honored to be named America's Favorite Veterinarian by the American Veterinary Medical Foundation. But you may know me better from my online videos on pet health, which have over 10 million views to date. But people are telling me this video may be my most important video yet, because for the first time, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of every type of dog food there is, including which ones I think are worth the money and which ones definitely are not. By the way, there's something you should know about me. There are two main types of veterinarians. Some are trained in Western medicine, which means they're experts in modern techniques like performing surgery, using x-ray machines, and treating disease. I graduated with honors from veterinary school, and of course, I'm an expert in all these techniques. But many years ago, I realized that Western medicine does very little to help dogs before they reach the point of disease. So I also became an expert in what we call holistic medicine, which is using food and herbal supplements as well as ancient Eastern practices to keep dogs healthy and happy before they get sick. When you combine these two schools of thought, East and West, you get what is called integrative veterinary medicine. And to me, this has been my secret at my veterinary practice to healing dogs that nobody else can fix. So, is there one type of food that both Western and Eastern practices can agree on? The answer is yes, which brings me to the story of a dog named Chance. A few years back, Chance was brought in to see me by his owner, Walter. Chance had cancer in his leg, which left untreated could result in amputation or even death. As you can expect, Walter was beside himself with grief. Walter was a military veteran, and Chance had been crucial to helping him with his own ongoing medical issues. Chance was literally his reason to get up in the morning, so I promised to do everything I could to save Chance's life. First, I used Western medicine, surgically removing as much of the cancer as I could and using radiation to treat what was left. Chance came through with flying colors, but I told Walter there was a bigger issue. Chance was overweight and had poor nutrition from a lifetime of mediocre food. These issues were not only ruining his mobility, but I suspected they were likely factors in his cancer growing in the first place. I told Walter, if you love your friend, we must explore the holistic side as well, by putting good food into his body. Walter agreed and changed Chance's diet. 5 months later, Chance had lost 20 pounds. His energy was way up, he was acting younger than he had in years, younger and happier than before he had developed the cancer. How is it possible that he got healthier as he got older, even after he had cancer? Well, to answer that question, just think of your dog's body like a car. Cars need fuel, right? Well, animals need fuel too, in the form of food. But there's one major difference. If your car is broken, someone needs to fix it. But when a dog's body is sick, it can do something no car can do. It can actually repair itself. A dog's body contains regenerative powers that no car has. It has the power to repair damaged tissue, to heal broken bones, even to restore organ health. But to unlock the full potential of that power, the body needs something very important: the right food. So no, food doesn't just give your dog energy, it can power their ability to feel younger and healthier, no matter what age they are. It's never too late. Food equals life. In fact, I tell every patient I have that good nutrition may be more important than any machine or device we have in my hospital. And I have one of the most unique, cutting-edge veterinary hospitals in the world. We have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber that improves blood flow and has saved many dogs from needing amputations. We're the only pet hospital in America with a regenerative laser that can repair torn ligaments without requiring surgery. We use infrared scanners to detect inflammation, acupuncture to improve mobility. We even have a full training course with an underwater treadmill. And yet, as wonderful as all these tools are, as many dogs as they've helped me save, none of them are as important as good nutrition, because it's possible for any dog of any age to improve their health and look and feel years younger simply by changing their food. And there's no reason to wait for disease to strike before you make that choice. Okay, so let's discuss the main types of food you can feed your dog and my pros and cons of each. The first is kibble. Kibble is the most popular form of dog food for some obvious reasons. First, it's the cheapest dog food, so it's easy on the wallet. Also, it has very little odor and can stay on the shelf for a long time. There's just one problem. In my opinion, kibble is hands down the least healthy thing to feed your dog. Many types of kibble are made with really crummy ingredients. This can include what we call meat byproducts, which is stuff a human would never eat, including weird things like chicken beaks or even clumps of wool. To keep kibble in those nice little balls, they're also packed with carbs, like corn, wheat, and rice, something a dog would never eat in the wild. In the wild, a canine diet would usually be about 6% carbs, but kibble can be up to 70% carbs. That's terrible for your dog's digestion, their weight, their mood, their organs, and their longevity. Now, many people prefer premium canned dog food to kibble, which costs a little more, but is often made with real meat and vegetables. And actually, some of them do use high-quality ingredients. But if you look at the healthy food on the label and then the gross, mushy food itself, you may wonder, what the heck happened to those healthy ingredients? The answer is one of the biggest problems in pet nutrition: high heat cooking. Basically, many dog food makers take those healthy ingredients and pressure cook them at super high temperature. And when it comes out the other end, you've got this brown mush, and much of the good stuff has been destroyed. They need to do this because the food is supposed to last for 2 or 3 years on the shelf. But that means some pretty bad stuff may have gotten into the food to make it last that long. The worst ones are what we call advanced glycation end products. You won't find these bad guys on your dog food label because they aren't an ingredient. They actually form while pressure cooking the food at high temperatures. These things may cause inflammation, which is the root cause of a lot of bad stuff in your dog, like allergies, flatulence, problems with their poop smelling bad or being mushy, itching, discomfort in their joints, trouble running around as they get older. And there's studies showing the glycation end products may even be linked with cancer. Another potentially harmful aspect of pet food is Maillard reaction products, or MRPs. These are also formed by the very high temperature cooking process. They're actually the chemical that turns dog food brown. And the crazy thing is, one study found the amount of these MRPs in dog food could be up to 122 times higher than what a human has on a daily basis. 122 times higher. No wonder these dogs are getting so sick. The food we're giving dogs basically has stuff in it that shouldn't be there. But just as bad, it's missing stuff that needs to be there for optimum health. Okay, so what are the right things to feed our furry friends? The answer comes from your dog's ancestor, the wolf. All dogs on Earth, from the biggest Great Dane to the tiniest Chihuahua, are actually descended from one species of wolf. But starting around 30,000 years ago, humans and wolves became what we might call friends. When humans would hunt big game like woolly mammoth, these dogs could help by corralling the prey and helping take them down. And in return, they could share in the rewards by eating the meat scraps left over by the humans. In time, humans began breeding the dogs, selectively choosing ones that were smaller, friendlier, and had specific skills, like sheep herding, hunting, or guarding territory. And again, the dogs could take advantage of humans' food, shelter, and companionship. People say humans domesticated dogs, but if you ask me, dogs might have domesticated us. But one way or the other, one thing is clear. Of all the animals in the world, dogs truly are man's best friend. Your ancestors and your dog's ancestors relied on each other, just like you and your dog do today. An interesting result of this is that, unlike wolves, modern dogs have evolved not in the wild, but in our homes, eating the scraps from our meals. That means modern dogs are not carnivores like wolves, but omnivores, meaning they eat both meat and plants, just like we do. Okay, so where does that leave us? In short, dogs need whole, healthy foods, including not just meat, but also fruits and vegetables, just like humans. One type of diet that's become popular for its canine health benefits is called a raw diet. This is pretty much what you'd expect, serving your dog raw, human-grade foods, the kind their ancestors ate. There's a few great things about a raw diet. First, there's no cooking involved, which means no creation of nasty chemicals like the glycation end products and Maillard reaction products I told you about earlier. Also, if you're using whole, healthy raw foods, you always know you're giving your dog 100% high-quality ingredients. But raw diets can have serious drawbacks. First is price. High-quality raw meats can be more expensive than cheap dog food. But there's also problems with prepping the food. Buying all the raw ingredients and prepping them can get really messy and is very time-consuming. Most people do it in batches and freeze the extra, but that requires lots of freezer space. And then you have to thaw it for hours when your dog wants to eat. Also, it's not just as simple as giving your dog the same foods you eat, even if you use healthy ingredients. For example, if you wanted to enjoy a great piece of beef, maybe you'd buy a ribeye steak or a filet mignon. So naturally, you'd think giving that to your dog would be a real treat for them. But in the wild, when a wolf makes a kill, do you know the first part of the animal they eat? The organs. That's because they instinctively know that the organs are the most nutrient-dense part of the meal. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't keep a lot of beef hearts or kidneys on hand for every meal. So, home-fed dogs often miss out on that nutrition. And even if you have the perfect ingredients on hand, the biggest problem with a raw diet is actually knowing how much of these foods to feed your dog. I can tell you as a veterinarian who has literally written books on this, it is impossible to eyeball these recipes and get a complete meal every time. As terrible as kibble is, at least the food makers are required by law to meet minimum vitamin and mineral standards. So they add those vitamins back in so there's nothing to think about. But if you or I make a whole meal for our dogs, even if we get it 95% right, if we neglect just one ingredient, carrots for instance, it's possible our dog will now be getting 0% of the beta carotene they need. That can cause serious health problems over time, just missing one ingredient. So yeah, it's pretty tricky. And this is where I found myself several years ago. Even with all my knowledge, I just felt nobody had yet come up with a way to make a perfect, clean, healthy dog food that I could give to my dogs with confidence. So I began coming up with my own raw recipes. And to ensure they were 100% balanced and complete, I began working with a highly trained canine nutritionist who uses a computer program to analyze every single vitamin and nutrient. Of course, even with the perfect recipes, there would still be the mess, the cost, the prep time, the thaw time, and the freezer dedicated almost entirely to my dogs. But I always suspected there was a better way. Then something amazing happened. I was introduced to someone who had an ingenious way to prepare dog food. It's called freeze-dried raw. Freeze-dried raw is basically the best of both worlds, the super healthy benefits of whole raw foods with all the convenience of kibble. How is that possible? Well, have you ever had a freeze-dried fruit like a strawberry? Freeze-dried fruits are rapidly frozen, then put into a kind of vacuum that sucks all the water out of it. Because it's now dry and water-free, it can be safely stored for a long time and doesn't smell. It's a natural, totally organic way to preserve food with no harmful side effects at all. I actually love freeze-dried strawberries. I get them at the store all the time. They're delicious, and they retain their natural health benefits. But it never occurred to me to actually do this with dog food. We tried this on a batch of the special recipe I had perfected over the years for my dogs. The one I had designed perfectly with a computer program, balanced to include over 40 different proteins, fruits, vegetables, nuts, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, prebiotics, and antioxidants a dog needs. My team blended it up, scooped it into little morsels, and then put it in a freeze dryer for a few days. When we took it out, I was amazed. It was dry and clean to the touch, so you could pick it up like kibble. It had virtually no odor. And I knew that because it was freeze-dried, I could leave it on a shelf unrefrigerated for over a year, and it would be totally fine. There was just one thing left to do: give it to Sammy and Marty. I put it in their bowls, added a little water, and waited for them to come running. Let me tell you, in all their years, I have never seen my dogs wolf down a bowl of food so fast. They absolutely loved it. I made a bigger batch and began giving it to friends and family. People who for years had wanted a healthy, hearty way to feed their dog the very best, without the hassles and confusion of home cooking. Every single dog that tried it loved it. Not only that, but after a few weeks of eating it, their owners were telling me the changes they noticed in their dogs were stunning. Vastly improved looking gums and teeth, and way better breath. More energy, better moods, older dogs acting years younger. And everyone kept raving about their dog's poop. Not only did it not smell, but it would turn white and crumble into the lawn in a day or so. I couldn't argue. I noticed the exact same thing with my dogs, which makes perfect sense. When animals eat healthy raw diets in the wild without all those cheap fillers, their poop is the exact same way, clean and odorless. My guys were literally acting like brand new dogs. Seeing the joy on these dogs' faces and even bigger smiles on their owners made me so happy I had never given up on finding a healthy, easy solution to help improve the lives of our furry best friends. Well, armed with this knowledge, I knew I had a new mission in life. Not just to help the dogs that were brought into my hospital, but to help the millions of dogs across the country who deserve the incredible